Hello everybody and welcome to this Apex Racing TV broadcast of the iRacing Le Mans series. I'm Joseph Ringrose and joined alongside me is Marco Balvanera. Hello Marco.
Hello everyone, hello Joseph. Yes, glad to be here tonight in this most historical racetrack. I have to say that not only we are racing in Watkins, Glen, one of the premier racetracks for sports car racing around the world, of course hosting every year 6-hour endurance event in the IMSA calendar, but also we are racing in the classic layout, so which, you know, the big change compared to the regular layout is that we are not using the inner loop chicane on the backstretch. So this, of course, will have some ramification as implication, especially with the way draft will work, and of course posing a little bit of a problem to whoever chooses the Audi, because it's one less braking area, the hardest braking area of the racing track. It looks like, Joseph, it's a picture perfect day with 30 degrees ambient temperature, 43 degrees on the track, clear, and no wind. So we are expecting a nice 1-hour race around this racetrack, and qualifying is about to end, so we just have a couple of drivers left, and then we can go through the starting lineup for this race, Joseph. But yeah, I mean, a very historical track, full of history, and one that the drivers really love.
Yeah, definitely for me personally it's one of my favourite tracks. I just feel, especially without the bus stop, it has very nice flow to it. As you can see, the SRC car of Jacob Browning going around. I believe he's set both of his times in qualifying so far, so he's just carrying on for a bit, and he is currently P13 in that LMP1 field, practicing that pit entry there. Currently Jan Stange starts on pole with 125.396 ahead of ex-PR team. No, Glen man has just put it on the front row, and ex-PR team man Fabrice Cornelis starting P3 as it stands. We have a pretty strong grid here today, Marco. Some new faces, some returning faces, you know, the likes of Johan Half, Dylan, Ismail Yakubu, David Gibbons. It's a good field in LMP1, and along with the LMP2 field with Fraser, Alex Trainer, some familiar faces in there, and Ricardo Rico, Matteo Glotti, Dominic Gaidemeyer. Pretty strong GT field as well. Not as strong as last week, where we saw all the World Championship Series guys preparing for round 2, but still a good grid nonetheless.
Yes, a very good grid as we are in the final minute of qualifying. I think everyone more or less set their fast time, so whilst we wait for the session to switch over, we can go very quickly. You can see the SOF display at the top of your screen, 4.2K for the LMP1s, 3.5 for the LMP2s, and 4.1 for the GTEs. So this will be your strength of field for tonight, as I think everyone went through the start-finish line with their time. We're just waiting for the last 20 seconds or so of qualifying, and then we can go through the starting grid. Once again, the weather, you can see 43 degrees the track temperature. Let's see. I'm not expecting a big switch between now and the start of the race. And speaking of that, I think we can go through the starting grid for this 5th round of the season.
Yeah, Jan Stange lines up on pole position in your LMP1 field with a 125.396. Dylan Mann completes the front row. In the second row, we have Fabrice Cornelis and Daniel Boucher. His teammate, David John Gibbons, P5, with the Apex Racing Team driver of Johan Half in P6. Klaus Dietrich Schulz, P7. Mark Harrison, P8. Linus Technell, P9. Roberto Eduardo, the Blue Flag Racing driver, P10. P11 is Ismail Yakubu, Sorg Rensport Esports driver, Nicholas Schneider, P12. Dan Apple, P13. Jacob Brannan, P14. And Tanner McCulloch, P15.
Fraser Williamson gets the pole position in the LMP2 class. Winner last week, Alex Trainer is in second, and Arkadiusz Neumann, Elidov, and then Roel Huben in P5 of his class. Then Lucas Lindqvist, Marcin Gazinski, Guido Jantos, Austin Hervias, who's always racing with us on Wednesdays, and Jamie Lee Myers rounds up the LMP2 field.
Zenith Esports driver Ricardo Rico takes pole position in your GT field with a time of a 1:40.7. Jackie Lotterman a couple of attempts behind him in P2. Carl Dunlop P3, just 1,000 separating himself and Matteo Ugolotti in P4. Demetrius Houdlouis in P5. Dominic Gaidemeyer P6. P7 is Arturo Junkel-Costas. P8 is Dennis Neidhart. P9 is Lars Modenhauer. P10 Alan Sabar. P11 is Andy Pears. P12 Kasper de Court. P13 Milan Arne Gordsky. P39 overall be Alvaro Rabinal, and the final man on the grid is Andrew Langham Service.
Yes, so we are getting ready for the not long, but and full pace lap around here. As you can see, this beautiful grid full of nicely colored cars.
I definitely have no bias on my favourite livery on the grid is, but we'll keep quiet on that. But you can probably guess, Marco.
No prize for guessing which your favorite livery is. As getting through this section here, this is going to be, I think, the most important part of the track for these guys in the first lap, because as you can see there is not much runoff area, and if someone bounces on those guardrails on the left and on the right, gets sent straight back into the racing line, a very narrow part of the track as well, and this means that pileup is always around the corner. Now the second trouble spot would be in the inner loop, which we are not doing today, and so we get, I'm expecting some big 2-3 wide formations heading into the carousel, and then into the boot, where the field should hopefully begin to settle into a proper position. As then the regular rhythm will continue. Of course, LMP1s have a very quick lap time around here, so we can expect people to start getting involved in lappings very quickly, and that's the part of the beauty of this kind of racing. Fabrice Cornelis, former PRT driver, sporting the Simil Force India livery for this race tonight.
I believe I can spot one Audi in the LMP1 field, Klaus Dietrich Schultz. Seen him before in his Audi, so he's keeping with his tradition in that diesel-powered car. Be interesting to see the regen not so good with the Audi due to the there's not many heavy braking zones around this circuit for the Audi where it can regen. Obviously, not having that MG UK. We talk about this every week, but it is such a big factor in that LMP1 field, trying to balance it out and compare the two cars, and you can really see what one's the fastest with just the complete whitewash of the field in a Porsche 919 Marco.
Yes, that's so. I know that's a problem that has been going on since this car first came out on iRacing. These two cars came out. So far, not much has been done in order to balance the two cars, so here's hoping that this will change in the future. By the way, pace car taking the hard right, sorry, because we're not on an oval, and we're about to get going, Joseph.
Yeah, Jan Stange will lead the field away, and he's gone. Green flag is up in the air as we see them come down towards turn one. Top three stays the same, as Johan Harf has a pretty good start from what I can see. LMP2 field has a relatively clean start as well. Obviously drivers can use that runoff at turn one. And the GTE field, how are they faring? Relatively clean, Marco. Ricardo Rico had a very good start.
We have some issues coming up the hill as the GT field is coming. There's luckily that LMP2 driver Lindqvist towed out of the way straight away. You know, good use of his head, even though I think he was furious because, you know, never nice to end your race this early. But disaster avoided as Fabrice Cornelis is trying to put a move on Dylan Yelman at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, you know, these two have a bit of a rivalry between each other, and we're going to see it again here today, as Dylan's going to try and hold it on the inside, and Fabrice is going to boost a bit more on the exit of that corner there to get ahead of Dylan. So that's Fabrice Cornelis up into P2, and now he's going to be chasing down Jan Stange, unless Dylan Mann is going to... Oh, that is Marcin Gudinski, GTL VRT driver. What's happened to him? So did he get hit there from the from the silver car? Yeah, he did get hit.
A terrible position to spin because you have no idea about the traffic that is coming towards you, and so you have to wait basically for the entirety of the GTE field to go through.
Well, Yakuba and Nicholas Schneider getting very, very up close and personal there. Ismail's going to try and keep her on the inside, whereas Nicholas Schneider's going to try and hold it round, but he's gone just way too deep and nearly hit the wall there. So a bit risky there. Roberto Eduard is going to try and capitalise on that. We'll stay on this battle for the moment. But I think Nicholas Schneider just boosted a bit more out that corner just to secure that position. Obviously, these drivers will be having varying boost strategies, and we see the SRC car pulling out there. Going to make the move. That is Jacob Browning. Now past Roberto Eduard. Oh! Big crash, Riccardo Rico and Matteo Ugolotti. We've got to make sure that none of the GTEs are collected in that incident. We'll try and get a replay of that. But that was P1 and P2 in GTE. So Ugolotti's going to try and looks quite behind here. Is Riccardo Rico going to get a bit of a snap somewhere? Yeah, hits that curb, loses it, and nothing Matteo do. There's got to be some damage to that BMW of his, and yeah, Riccardo Rico.
And he clipped that Gazinski car, yeah. The LMP2 that was trying to make its way back through the field, so as we have some, of course, Ugolotti's car a bit slow now, and he must have some damage there, and creating a bit of chaos now in the GT field, as now Jackie Lotterman will inherit the lead after all this crazy situation that we just had, as Kyle Dunlop now is in third.
Matteo Ugolotti is very lucky, Marco. Sorry to cut you off there. He's in the BMW. That car's the strongest of the 4 GTEs on damage, so although he's going to have some damage, it might not be as bad as, say, what he might have sustained in the Porsche. As yeah, it was quite a hit from both sides, because obviously he's hit the... Riccardo Rico's hit the right side of his car, but he's hit the wall on the left side, so... Yeah, see, Ugolotti's so much slower on the straights. He's just going to be losing that time.
And we can see the situation of his the front of his car quite damaged there. Let's see how he will hold on. Of course, he will have a pit stop somewhere in this race, but not. You know, it's very tough to get it all repaired, especially because you are going to lose a lot of time regardless. So, yeah, tough start of the race for himself, and of course. Rico himself, who was starting from pole position, had a very uncharacteristic mistake there, losing the car on the curb. Let's go back to the LMP1 field, because Ismail Yakubu and Mark Harrison are fighting it out for P9. And back at the front, Dylan Mann is putting some pressure on Fabrice Cornelis, and Ian Stange is not that far away in his Porsche leading the race. The driver from the DAC club, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Nice fight for the win so far. 5 minutes into this race, and hopefully this goes on for a bit less. In a bit we will switch to the LMP2 field, but let's keep it on this battle here. because Fabrice Cornelis seems to be very, very, very intent on trying to pull a move on car in first place, but also needs to defend himself from Dylan Mann, and Johan Hart is trying to, you know, join this party.
Yeah, let's say Johan Hart's not too far behind, about a second off of Dylan, so he's going to look to try and close that gap in the next couple of laps and try and capitalise on any mistakes by these drivers. Expect them to get GT traffic relatively soon, Marco. Obviously, this lap being quite high speed. As you can see, Dylan hitting 300 kilometers an hour and in the toe of Fabrice Cornelis there. And yeah, Riccardo Rico is not far up ahead.
We have some news from the chat. Meatball for some mechanical black flag for Matteo Ugolotti, who I think will have to head to the pits very, very soon. As you can see now, he's under pressure from many drivers, but he will have to pit regardless if he doesn't want to be disqualified, and it remains to be seen if he will decide to continue or if he will call it a day, considering that usually when you have a mechanical black flag, it's usually a very, very long one to clear.
Yeah, I mean, he'll most likely have some required repairs that he'll need to do to that car. So yeah, he's going to pull in now.
Another lap in the books, and back to this lead of the race, and getting to the rear end of the GTEs.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get spicy, Marco, especially through the S section. A bit of a if there's miscommunication between drivers, then it can cause absolute havoc for them.
Oh, here we go.
Look, Fabrice Cornelis going to slip it down. Oh, that was a bit naughty there from Jan Stand. Nothing Fabrice can do, being stuck behind the BMW. This early phase of the race, this first round of traffic is very, very important for the next stage of the race when they come round again to the LMP2s and the GTEs again. Traffic management is...
Here we go. Big wreck.
What we got? Linus Tech now. Who else was involved in that? Nicholas Schneider.
We'll go to a replay as soon as we can.
Still a man's right on the back of Fabrice Cornelis. Still just 0.8 of a second separating this top three. And Johan Haas got even closer through that traffic.
I dare to go just very quickly to that situation there, but not this time, because Dylan Mann seems to have a good run through the S's, but now Cornelis boosting away, but still Mann has some boost of his own now, so good balance between these top three drivers. We've already seen the top two come to blows, even though they were light blows, but still. Let's remain on this battle here, because this promises to be super tasty, with Dylan Mann fancying his chances there, making himself present in the mirrors of Fabrice Cornelis. It's been a while since we've seen such a close battle between three drivers in the LMP1 field. I know it's still early days, but usually the LMP1 is the first class to get strung out during the race, as Cornelis on the inside of Stange there. Nothing working so far, as they have a lapped LMP2 in front of them.
He's going to hold him right up here. This can cause all sorts of issues for them.
Go to the chopper so we can have a clearer idea of the lines these guys are taking, and especially how strong their boost and their draft will be on the, as Yakubu is in the pits. Yakubu was involved in that contact there, I'm quite sure. He was just at the beginning of that chaotic moment we just had in the boot. as it's a retirement for Matteo Golotti, as I'm reading in the chat.
Looks like Fabrice went in a bit deep there, and Dylan Mann's really closed up to the rear end of him there.
Flashing his lights is Dylan Mann as they enter the boot, and just like, you know, a hawk waiting for his prey, Johan Hart, you can see him slowly but surely closing the gap to the top 3 and keeping an eye on the situation there. And he knows that this situation can explode any moment. Let's go to that situation there, ready to click back to the live pictures if something happens there at the front. So we are watching Ismail Yakubu from the chopper. 2 GTs touch, then he gets involved.
Yeah.
Then the GT goes there once again, and then I think we will have Roberto Eduard go through, so no problem for him. Linus Tech now was there spinning. So, and that was Jacob Browning, of course. So unfortunate situation all around. Started, you know, no, you know, the GT, the LMP1 guys were arguably the guys who were, you know, more, you know, damaged by the situation, and it all started in GT class, so nothing they could have done about it. As we go back to the live pictures and back to this 3-way fight for the race lead.
Yeah, top 4 starting to pull away from David John Gibbons in P5. Gibbons and Boosh are 2 teammates fighting out together, so maybe they should work together and try to close that gap down to the top 3.
On board with the VRT iRacing Porsche LMP1. So far, Dylan Mann seems to be the calmer of the top 3. Once again, Stang and Cornelis already came to blow a couple of laps ago. Meanwhile, in the LMP2 field, Fraser Williamson, as per usual, has taken the lead in the start of the proceedings. Alex Traynor is in second, not that far away, a couple of seconds back. And then we have Ellie Dove in third as we go back to the lead of the... It seems like Cornelis every time is ready to, you know, pounce, try to get a move done, but then seems to lose just a bit of steam as we get, as he gets closer and closer to the race leader. And this will in turn gives the opportunity to Dylan Mann to close the gap. And so the status quo remains more or less the same. Let's have a battle for P3 between Ellie Dove and Arkadiusz Neumann. As I heard something. No, I heard nothing. I heard some, you know, crash noise, but that was nothing of notice. As this battle here continues. So, after all of these... Oh, look at this.
Yeah, very close here in GTE. For the final podium spot, I believe, Marco.
This is battle for P3, yes.
Porsche, BMW, Ford. That's the way it goes at the moment. And is the BMW going to hold it round the outside of the carousel? Hudo Lees versus Arturo Junkel Costas of Vodafone Giants. Still side by side.
Always nice to hear the different engine notes. Only the Ferrari missing in this quartet here.
Looks like the Giants driver's going to have him, but no. The BMW still wants to be there. We'll stay on this battle until it solves itself out. And they're still side by side.
Yeah, the Lenic Racing driver seems to have no problems running side by side with Costas. Now he has the inside, but this is a very, very tricky corner. as Fabrice Cornelis moves on the outside and gets the race lead. So new leader of the LMP1 class, Fabrice Cornelis.
He's going to look to want to pull away from these two now, as Dylan's going to want to try and find a way in Jan Stange. Johan dropped back a bit, but he's still within touch and distance of these guys. Dylan's got a bit of a run here on Jan Stange, pulls out. And yep, looks like he's got him. So, smart move from the Brit there. Now he's got to find his way around this LMP2. And he does so. Jan Stange gets a little bit held up there. So not ideal for him, but a lot of traffic coming up, Marco.
Yes, let's keep our cameras on this trio here. They managed to pull away just a bit from Johan Hart, but now all of a sudden Dylan Mann looking really aggressive and close to the race leader Fabrice Cornelis as they dart. I will always love the way these LMP1s can dart out of the way of the GTs with such ease. It's poetry in motion, if you ask me. The situation gets calmer for just a bit, so Cornelis can now begin to try and pull away a bit more from his rivals there. Meanwhile, in the LMP2 class, Arkadiusz Neumann went past Elidov. I think we saw that in the background. Now another train of cars for the LMP1 leaders to go through.
Yep, Fabrice is going to have to ensure that he doesn't interfere with any of this, as it could cause issues for him, but just falls through it with ease, and Dylan's going to do the same. Still got the LMP2 of Fraser Williamson just in front, but Jan Stange is going to lose a bit more in traffic this time. Now second back from the other two.
And now as you get once again into the boot, seems to be very strong, Dylan Mann, and as he gets, well, no, traffic or no traffic seems to be the part of the track where he's quicker. But now you see on the bottom right hand side of the screen, pulling away is Fabrice Cornelis as they get into this braking zone. Right-hander, second gear usually. And this very tricky left-hander that brings you back to the proper racetrack, the original racetrack, where grip always comes at a premium. And let's go back to these guys fighting it for third place of the GTE field. Kostas Soudaludis, Gadermeyer, Nidart, Kort and Saba. All five of them. Very close to each other.
Yep, not much separating these guys, Marco. So you can see the sheer speed of those LMP1 machines as the Audi just flies past the BMW. MP2 obviously doesn't have hybrid technology, as these cars do. Dylan Mann looking for a move and Fabrice Cornelis for the race lead.
That was very sudden, the way he closed the gap, maybe using the help of some lapped cars as they are side by side getting into the boot. Let's see if Mann gets a good run coming out of this corner, even though it's very tough to pass here. Just being on the onboard, you can see how agile these cars are despite their big dimensions, and Cornelis defending hard on the inside. Yeah,
Cornelis is going to be expecting a move from Dylan. Dylan's looked very racy since the start of the race, both of Jan Stange and Fabrice himself, so Fabrice is going to want to cover everything as much as he can while staying in front of the Brit.
Bring the track map up so we can see the traffic update, and these guys will have a little bit of rest right now as we are 20 minutes into this event. So some laps of clean air, more or less, for the race leaders. In yellow, the LMP1s, in blue, the LMP2s, and in...
He's got a bit of a run here, Marco.
Good run there.
Fabrice using the boost to get back ahead of him a bit. The carousel, a very, very hard place to make a move. Just, it's so high speed. There's no real braking point. Maybe there's a bit slight tap in the brakes in these cars, maybe a shift down, but it's nothing sort of heavy enough to sort of outbrake someone. Ugolotti is now back out on track, though be it a few laps down now. So a shame for him, but he's going to try and continue on.
Good spirit, you know, embracing the spirit of endurance racing, where, you know, even though this is a 1 hour race, but, you know, in endurance terms it's a sprint, but trying to finish and, you know, to bring the car home despite 11 minutes of required repairs after that crash. So we can see now on board with Cornelis, you can see the driver going through all his gears and getting into 270 kilometers per hour in the first corner braking area. Of course, they can go very, very wide there. The important thing is that you don't clip the grass.
Oh, that end Stang in the background.
I saw him.
That in the background, yeah.
He was flipping through the air and he's blown his engine. And he has to stop the car. That's it for him.
Big shame for him there. Yeah, that was a very strange one, Marco. So he comes into T1, everything looks normal so far, just behind Dylan Mann. What's he going to do? Lose it on a curb, maybe? Oh, he loses it on the curb. Oh, and then hits the curb on the left-hander. And yeah, that's just completely destroyed his engine. Watching on board here. So he takes T1 normally, no issues there. T2, yeah, he just loses it on the curb, and then yeah, that curb sends him up in the air and he hits the wall. And by his time he's been sent up into the air, that engine has had it.
So, Johan Hart up to P3 right now. So another, you know, front runner in his class gets big problems, is out of the race. As we already have quite the list of drivers who are out or have had big problems. I think Jamie Lee Myers just joined this list. Contact with that BMW, loses the car and hits the tire barriers at the pit exit, and I think that will be it for him.
Yeah, I think, can't tell if that was Huda Louis or Andy Perez as Huda Louis, the 26 got, so shame for him there. As we head back to Dylan Ian Mann and Fabrice Cornelis, the battle for your overall race lead is hotting up.
Tell you what, this battle could go on until the end, judging by the pace these two drivers are having and the way they are handling the traffic so far. And hopefully it does, because these are two of the quickest drivers in their class. Let's jump a bit to the lead of the G. We haven't shown the GT leader. And up until this moment, it's Jackie Lotterman for Geodesic Racing, and he has a comfortable lead of 10 seconds over Kyle Dunlop here. And then we have that battle we've had before, was you know, trimmed down a bit with Kostas Gadermeyer here, and then the Core and Neidhart still fighting it out. That is the top 6 of your GT class. Let's get on board once again with Dylan Mann, as we are approaching the halfway mark of this race.
Guessing Dylan Mann seems to be getting about 300 kilometers an hour in that draft of Fabrice Cornelis and getting so much through the carousel. You'd expect with the dirty air that Dylan would be struggling, but he just seems to have so much downforce, Marco.
Yes, absolutely, and we know, of course, how much you know. It's a two-way. Mm, you need to be good, very very good as a driver to go fast in these cars, but also your setup work needs to be on point. And we know, of course, how good Fabrice Cornelis is with his setups and how good the VRT boys are with their setups with these cars. So it's a good battle, not only for the drivers that are fighting it out, but also for their setups. And uh, seems like they are very very on par. Of course, speaking of par, the Masters are this week in golf, as yeah, these two guys seem to be very very good and on the same level tonight. Lap times very close to each other, 0.7 of a second, but that gap is going to grow and shrink based on the traffic these guys will encounter.
Yeah, well, that wasn't broadcasted last week. There was a very, very good race between Fabrice, Dylan, and Ricardo Roscoe, and they were very, very closely matched and fought for the whole hour. So once again, proven again that their pace is very, very similar, Marco.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I know this is what we like. I mean, we want to see close battles. We want to see, guys driving. Oh. This is not good for Dylan Mann. He is facing the wrong way, entering the boot and towing back to the pits. Oh dear.
He's gone for a bit of a lunge there.
Oh, clipped by the... Oh dear. That is Rico, I think. And very aggressive from Dylan Mann, and slight contact, and his car is sent flying through the air. So he was very aggressive here, cutting a bit of the grass. Then he went on the outside of the BMW of the pole sitter, and just a bit of contact. And sadly for the VRT LMP1s, not the first time that they have been upside down in the last few months. And I think that's it for Dylan, who is towed back to the pits. And David Gibbons now up to third place. That's it from the onboard of Ricardo Rico.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit risky from Dylan. He didn't really need to take the risk at that stage. But yeah, unfortunate. Won't get that battle now. As Fabrice Cornelis is now your race leader. But the battle we can bring to you is P2 and GT between Costas and Dunlop.
Scream of the Porsche, the growl of the BMW, and I don't know how to describe, but equally beautiful sound of the Ford sitting in fourth place, the third car in this train, as we have an LMP1, a couple of LMP1s also joining the party. Bit of a mistake there from Costas, getting a nice chunk of the grass there. Careful. Always scary. Fascinating and scary at the same time. See how close these, how quickly these LMP1s get, close the gap between yourself and, and themselves. So might also have a battle for P4, for P3, sorry, in class, and these were the two cars we just saw go by the GT field there. Gibbons and Bucher here, as they are third and fourth, and they are there due to the regular pace, a bit of luck, but they are there nonetheless, as I think we have had a problem for Jacob Browning, who was going slowly.
Yeah, very slowly.
So I think he called it a day, and that's exactly what he did. I'm trying to find if he had a problem earlier.
He was involved in that incident earlier on, Marco.
You're right.
So unless damage wasn't worth carrying on, then must have just Called it a day.
That must be Jackie Lotterman, the GT leader. Yes, he is, as these guys go through him. Cornelis fastest lap of the race at 26.7. Of course, you can keep track of the live timing by clicking on the link in the description, but I will post it on the chat as well right now, so you can follow the action. And of course, you can follow the pit stops on the bottom of your screen as they happen in real time, so you can keep an eye on who is pitting and how long do they take. How long does it take for them to do their pit stop? This is the wrong car. This is the right car. Dunlop and Costas, second place. Jackie Lotterman pulling away 12.3 seconds now, so he's having a... I mean, if you remember in Silverstone, he didn't have the best of days, colliding with his teammate in the final corner, and but today is really everything is going his way. He's having some nice pace, good qualifying, a little bit of luck. I mean, I don't want to call it luck, of course, because you know, to finish first, you first have to finish, and you know, if you crash, then it's always a bit of your fault. Even in cases where, you know, for example, like Ugolotti, there nothing he could have done differently, I think. But still, you know, first of all, you have to finish, and that's what Lotterman is doing right now in first place, as we have some pit stops. Johan Hart is the first LMP1 to bite, and he comes in.
He does.
Beautiful iRacing camera angles for the pit stops, so you will have to... oh, here we go. As you can see, the two drivers who started in first and second, sadly towing back to the pits. You can see them, Stange and Dylan Yamman. So that's game over for them. I think, like you said, Ugolotti is back on the racetrack, and here he is. Let's see how is it going with the steering wheel. Seems somewhat stable, of course. Probably had some suspension damage there. Casper De Cor defending from Dennis Neidhart.
Ford versus BMW. This draft is just really helping that Ford. He seems to back out of it a bit of that. Capsticle will keep the position. As Ismail Yakubu goes around the outside.
Ooh. Not a happy spot for VRT cars today. Of course, can we say it, you know, congratulations to Ismail, because he became a dad a couple of weeks ago. That's why he didn't show up for a couple of races in a row, I think. Now back on the racing track. You know what Enzo Ferrari used to say about drivers having sons? He said that every son is 1 second more on lap times. So hopefully this is not it for him. Sitting in P9, of course, having some issues at the very beginning of the race, where he had to was involved in a collision with some drivers in the GT field. Beautiful sound of the BMW when it goes, you know, down the gears and you lift the throttle, as Alex Traynor is in the pits from second place in the LMP2 class. As this battle continues, once again, I think Neidhart will try to use the slipstream. It wasn't enough last time around. And you can see, I don't know if it's, you know, maybe Neidhart thinking it's not worth it to risk it in the carousel, because it's not a passing opportunity in, you know, in a broader sense. You know, it's you really need to be aggressive if you want to pull a move there. as I can't hear Joseph anymore, so hopefully I'm not talking to myself. Oh, he's back. As we say, thank you to David Bolland for subscribing to us here on YouTube. And of course, we remind you that we have World F3 in around 40 minutes time after the end of this race, so you can switch to that, always here on Apex Racing TV. Fraser Williamson into the pits from the lead in the LMP2 class with his classic David Coulthard helmet from the 90s when he was at McLaren. Arcadius Neumann in the pits as well, and so I think Williamson could easily stay in the lead, and Daniel Buescher is in the pits as well from 4th place.
Yep, indeed. I don't know if it's just me. It seems to have a bit of damage on that right side of the car.
Yeah, I think, did he clip the barrier entering the pits? Let's see.
Oh, he did, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna really cost him, because that kind of damage does lose you a lot of time.
You know, for as as much as these drivers like this track, and it's a very well-known track by everyone, I think, on iRacing, we've seen some big mistakes today, Joseph.
Yeah, it goes to show these drivers are human, you know, and we've seen the mistakes from them, and maybe just an off day for some of them today. You know, sometimes drivers just have an off day and make a few mistakes, so it's unfortunate for them.
As we have a flurry of new subscriptions, so thank you guys for joining us, and of course not only for tonight but hopefully for many broadcasts to come. And now Ismail Yakubu is putting Daniel Buescher under pressure. David Gibbons goes in the pits from 2nd place. You can see the pit stop situation in the LMP1 class, and we just have a few drivers remaining. Tanner McCulloch has to pit, and also Dan Alpel has to pit as well, and also Schulze and Cornelis. So Yakubu had his best lap of the race last time around, so certainly, even though he's not, his car is not 100%, he's getting into a groove, and you see Buescher is really struggling now. And now, but Yakubu has to pit again, of course, because he went in very early. So sorry about that. Yeah, that's the problem when you have an issue early in the race and you have to pit. Then you need to stop twice, basically, and that's never good. Your race is compromised. Thank you to Michael Evdoka for subscribing. I'm very surprised that you were not subscribed with us earlier, Michael. That's a surprise. Or he unsubscribed and then resubscribed to have his name, of course, Michael Evdoka, the Euro V8 champion a couple of seasons ago, a series that we show every 2 weeks on Saturdays here on Apex Racing TV, and they are getting into the thick of things as well, with 3 rounds remaining in the championship there. Schulze is in the pits. Yep,
Schulze is in the pits. It's going to be close. Obviously, him being in the Audi does give him that pit advantage. So we're going to see if it brings him that and see where he comes out. He's going to be fighting with David John Gibbons. Maybe it's not going to be enough.
It's coming out of the pits right now. Will he be in front of Buescher, who had that problem in his pit stop? I think he should be in front.
Yeah, pretty comfortably. 3.7 seconds to David John Gibbons. He's got 13 laps to do it, so he's going to have to put his head down to get ahead of him.
Let's run on board with our LMP2 race leader, Fraser Williamson. Cornelis is in the pits, by the way. A lonely race at the front for Fraser Williamson, but to be honest, that's most of the time is exactly what you're looking forward to if you want to win the race. I'm also seeing a very, very nice, as that is Johannar going through, a very nice driving suit for Williamson, if I'm not mistaken. But I want, seems like a very, you know, have a Scottish feel to it, you know what I mean? I don't know the exact name of that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
The
just like
kind of
Jackie
colours
Stewart.
of the Manchester helmet of...
Then they had a couple of years ago, yeah, exactly. Even though I noticed that I learned recently that was an homage to a particular kind of texture from Manchester. So they look similar, but they are not the same. This reminds me a bit of, you know, Jackie Stewart motif on his helmet. As, of course, Williamson always at the forefront of the LMP2 field, and today has been no different. Cornelis went in for his stop, came out, still in the lead, and we are just waiting for Tanner McCulloch to stop. He's under pressure from Daniel Buescher, who has stopped, and now pretty easily, I might add, goes through and up to P5.
Yeah, pretty good job there from Buescher, even with the damage that he suffered. Seems to have got that repaired, and now up into P6.
Stop situation in the GT field, most of the field has to stop. So these guys like to leave it as late as possible when they can. I think, of course, the strategy that everyone is going to use is that one. Jackie Lotterman, by the way, is still your leader in his class. Arturo Costas in second, and Kyle Dunlop in third, under big pressure from Dominic Gadermeyer in fourth, just behind him. A regular 3 wide going up the S's. Cars darting all over the place, left and right.
Very, very close there between all the drivers of the different classes. The Guns sliding his way through, slotting himself past the GTs and LMP2s.
As Yakubu jumps McCulloch after Tanner's pit stop, as Fraser Williamson has disappeared from our screen and he's not coming back.
It's not looking good for Fraser. Yeah, don't see him coming back.
You can open the you can open the iRacing overlay and see if he's got a disconnection or a disqualification.
The quality is not the best.
Okay, so I'm afraid we are going to lose Fraser Williamson due to a connection issue. So even in the LMP2 field, where everything seemed to be settled, we are about to have a big swing as Alex Traynor becomes your new race leader, and the battle between between Elidov and Roll Huben is going to become the battle for the final podium spot, as I'm afraid this is the end of the road for Fraser. So let's show our new leader in the LMP2 class, Alex Traynor, as he is fancying his chances on an LMP1.
It's very risky, that one.
Not something you see every day, I have to be honest. Let's follow this battle for P3 for a bit then.
Roll Hoban chasing down Ellie Dove. Got 14 minutes to go in this race. So over 3/4 of the way through now. Sort of calmed down a bit now, but hopefully we can get some action in the final couple of laps.
Looking at the lap times in LMP1, right now the quickest driver is David Gibbons. Of course, traffic always plays a big part, as we had, I think, a BMW going into the pits, creating some havoc here and giving, I think, Huben a chance at the podium spot. Slipstream not very strong in the HPD, but we'll see if Huben can get a better run coming out of the S's.
Sit in that slipstream. Is it going to be enough? Goes to the outside. Going to the next score. I think it might just be enough. That was a brilliant move, Marco.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful move. But now Dove coming back here in the middle portion of the boot, as we can see from the gearbox camera of Huben, and I think he should be okay for the moment, but not completely in the clear, as Dove moves on the inside here. Now they have, I think, Ismail Yakubu joining them and trying to move through, which he does in the span of one short straight, but Dove not giving up so easily on this third place.
Hoban, so now ahead now in that podium position. See just how much those drivers are allowed to extend that corner, Marco.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's absolutely crazy how much they can. Is that Dylan Mann back on the racing track? Yes, he is, sitting in P11 with Johan Hart behind him. So the pit stops have started in GT, and they're over as well. So everyone we see here is in their, has done their pit stop, and they are about to, get a sprint to the finish. I think everyone in the field, in all classes, has stopped. So it's a sprint to the finish, and we'll see if we have any last-minute changes, like we sometimes have in this series as well. So Fabrice Cornelis, your race leader in LMP1, you can see him here. In second place in his class, we have Johan Hart for Apex Racing Team, and in third place is David Gibbons. In the LMP2 field, Alex Traynor is your race leader right now. Arkadiusz Neumann in second, and Roel Huben is in third. In the GT class, Jackie Lotterman for Geodesic, your race leader. Arturo Costas in second, under pressure from Dominic Gadermeyer in third. Let's jump on board with Dominic.
Ford versus Porsche. See that brightly coloured aqua car for Comrade Gaming. On the back of the Vodafone Giants car. In front of them is Andy Pear's lap Talonic racing car.
Oh wow, that Porsche was really sideways coming out of the runoff area there. and having a very, very bad exit, and I think Gadermeyer might fancy his chances in the backstretch.
Yeah, pulls out. As the LMP1's going to slot right through the middle.
Around the outside is the Ford. Now the outside becomes the inside. Will he have a good enough round to try and go for a move there to send his car? Well, seems like it's going to be just like that. And we have a change for a second place in GT then, but not so quick because Costas now has the inside. And they also have some small contact, and Porsche of the Vodafone Giants team is back to second place.
Yeah, Carl Dunlop not too far behind either.
No, Gadermeyer really put under pressure by that LMP2. He loses a bit of time, almost 1 second, just like that. Now he has it all to do once again with only 8 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, not long to go now then. These drivers. Sheer difference in speed coming into the corners between the LMP1s and the GT cars, you can see. As Dunlop is now even closer to Gadermeyer than Gadermeyer is to Costas.
Exactly, you see the dark black BMW, black BMW of Dunlop. As you can see, the different interpretation of the racing line there as LMP1s come out of nowhere. And I think like Dunlop could really have a go at Gadermeyer now. Not long left now, Joseph. I think this is one of the battles we will have until the end of the race. All the other classes are more or less calm. Unless Arkadiusz Neumann can put a number on Alex Traynor for the lead in LMP2.
Yep, it has closed in a bit, so maybe in the last couple of laps we'll see a bit of a battle.
Let's follow this fight here. Let's have a comparison of these two guys' lap times and the gap, more specifically. Which is not working at the moment. So I will get back to that in a second. There we go. Yeah, the gap was 5 laps ago, 1.9 seconds, then it grew even bigger over 2 seconds 3 laps ago, and now is dropped down to 0.8 of a second. So really Neumann is having a late surge and having probably a chance, a slim chance of getting that race win in LMP2 if he can keep it going. A little bit of help from the traffic maybe will be very welcomed by him. It's a situation of the traffic that they will have to contend with. And they are there, and they are closing in on some GT cars. And they should have to deal... Yes, they are right in front of them. So let's keep an eye on this battle here.
It's really closing in now. It's not going to want these GT cars to get into the way.
.7 of a second now the gap. Of course, Neumann has to clear this GT traffic before the first corner. He should be able to do so. Tell you what, Joseph, it's very, very close between these two.
Yeah, it's really good to see that it's just so close, Marco. Watching races like this, obviously it's a shame we didn't see that in the LMP1 class, but it's good to see with what's happening with the GT and Prototype 2 classes.
Seems to be flowing better, Newman, in this middle portion of the track, as that is the race overall leader Fabrice Cornelis suddenly coming into our picture. Should have a couple of laps left, maybe 3.
Oh, Marco, looks like
Yeah.
Klaus Dietrich Schulz is now in P3.
He is in P3, you are absolutely right, because David Gibbons had a problem. Nice catch there, Joseph. So where did he have his problem then? Oh, going really wide. Oh, and slamming into the barrier for good measure is David Gibbons. So he's going very, very, very slowly and losing position now to Daniel Bucher, the guy he passed because he hit the wall in the pits. So it all comes around, but the only one that's really smiling is Schulze, because now he has put his Audi on the podium. So in the LMP1 field especially, many big mistakes from all these drivers, as also we have an issue from Casper De Cor. I think went around after some... Oh, that's a big hit.
A big hit, yeah.
So Alex Traynor, Arkadiusz Neumann, fighting it out for the race win. Where is the race leader? He is just in front of them, and I think the white flag will be in the air this time around.
Indeed it will. 1 minute to go. And you can't fault Fabrice. He's done a very, very good job to continue the pace and them battles he had earlier on in the race, and he maintained that position, Marco.
Absolutely, and you know, he really had to, you know, work his way through and get first position. Then when he got there, he was under massive pressure for almost half of the race, and now he's reaping the benefits of his good driving by being in the lead. And I don't think Johan Hart will be able to catch him. Of course, 15 seconds is a massive gap. Let's run on board a bit with our race leader, ready to switch to the LMP2 battle in case Neumann sends it on Alex Traynor. Gap is still 0.7 of a second between the two of them. You can see it on the bottom right side of your screen. 0.5 now. And yes, this will be it for Fabrice Cornelis then.
Yeah, a good win from the Belgian driver. Didn't put a foot wrong and claims his first win this season in the ILMS SOF races. Your winner seems like it's going to be Alex Traynor. I believe Jackie Ottoman will be your winner in GTE.
Yes, he has a long way to go still, but here he is. But everyone else behind him in his class has already got the checkered flag, and so it's a triumphant final lap for Jackie Lotterman, really going back to the winning ways after a disaster race in Silverstone a couple of weeks back. And I'm sure he would be delighted with the way this one has gone. He gained several positions from his starting one, and he will claim a very nice victory. Costa second, Gadermeyer third in his class, in LMP1 Art second and Schulze third, and third in the LMP2 field is Roel Uben. But for Jackie Lotterman, right now, just a couple of corners left before his race win.
Geodesic driver claims his first win of the season also, I believe, in his BMW. So congratulations to him. And Marco, I believe we can now go through the race result.
Exactly, just as the GTE winner goes through, we can go through the race results, starting, of course, with the LMP1 field. There you go, Joseph.
Yep, Fabrice Gonzalez takes your win in LMP1. Johan Half and Klaus Dietrich Schulz claim the final spots on the podium. Daniel Boucher, P4. Mark Harrison, P5. David John Gibbons having that moment towards the end of the race in P6. Dan Apple, P7 is Mo Cubic, P8. P9 is Tanner McCullough. And the DNFs in LMP1 is Roberto Eduardo. We saw Dylan Mann go back out on track, but was classified well down the order. Jan Stans, Jacob Brown, and Linus Technell, and Nicholas Schneider all involved in that early incident.
In LMP2, your winner is Fraser Williams. He's Alex Traynor, I'm sorry. Arkadiusz Neumann in second, Roel Uben is in third, and Elidov and Austin Ervias round up the top 5. Marcin Gazinski is in 6th, and then poor Fraser Williamson in 7th. 11 laps down, was leading the race, connection issue for him. Guido Jantos, Jamie Lee Myers, and Lucas Lindqvist round up the LMP2 field.
GT Geodesic driver Jackie Lotterman takes your win ahead of Vodafone Giants driver Arturo Junkel Costas in P2. P3 was the Comrade Gaming driver of Dominic Gademeyer in P3. P4 was Carl Dunlop. P5 Dennis Neidhart. P6 Demetrius Houdelouis. P7 Alan Sabat. P8 Lars Moldenhauer. Ricardo Rico getting into the early incident in P9, I think. Kasper Kort also having issues towards the end. Milan Aronofsky, Andrew Langham Sturvis, and your DNF / non-classified drivers are Andy Pears, Mathieu Galotti, and Alvaro Rabanal.
Getting some news of a problem for Thunder McCulloch towards the end of the race. So let's try and show it. Should be here is Thunder. See him running with his blue LMP1 car. Maybe this is the right replay. I think the race wasn't over yet when this happened. People are asking for the replay, and so we shall give it to them. Oh no!
The race was definitely over.
Yeah. Oh.
Couple of flips there from Tanner McCulloch. And
wow.
That does, and on that bombshell, Marco, has been a very good race here at Watkins Glen today. What do you have to say for it? Oh, we have a couple of interviews actually. I didn't spot that.
Yeah.
We'll bring Fabrice Cornelis up. I'll take this one with Fabrice. Fabrice, hello.
Hello.
Congratulations on your win. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, I mean, it started well. I got P3 in quali, which was okay for me. And then I just tried to follow Jan. Was it Jan? Yeah, it was Jan. I forgot it. Yeah, I tried to follow Jan, and then I overtook him, and then it was just about pulling away. I mean, Dylan could have given me a good fight, I think, but it sucks that he made that mistake there. Yeah, that costed him the race.
Yeah, me and Marco were talking about it was such a good battle early on in that race. You, Jan, and Dylan, all very, very close together. It's good to see you back in these races, isn't it, Marco? And we're making a return next week, Sebring, a slightly different circuit to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I don't know. It really depends on the time I have with all the things going on in real life with me, and so well, if I have time, I will do it for sure normally. Yeah, this was just about stepping in and trying to. I mean, I was hoping for top 5 because I thought like most of the guys were gonna do it, like the PRT guys. But yeah, I come over the finish with a win, so I would take it.
And before we let you go, Fabrice, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Linus actually, who helped me with the dog. He built the dog and I tried to improve it a bit. So shout out to him for sure. And then also to my mom and my dad. Shout out to you guys for podcasting like always. And yeah, that's it really.
And that was Fabrice Cornelis, your LMP1 winner. And we'll bring up Jackie Lotterman, your GTE winner. He's going to be standing by Marco Barbanero.
Yes, Jackie Lotterman, congratulations, first of all, Jackie.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, of course, I mean, I remember you back in the day running in Indy Fixed. That must be quite a jump to the GT, but apparently you have adapted quite well.
Oh, that's a long time ago. I did a lot of NASCAR and IndyCar, but now I switched to road for like a year now, and then yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago in Silverstone, it was not the best of races for you. How good was it to, let that behind you and get a nice race win today?
Yeah, Silverstone was really bad, and then today I didn't really expect to win. I kind of expected that maybe a top 5 would be possible, but then the 2 in front of me crashed, and then I was in the lead, and then I was just able to pull away. It was really good.
You pulled away, and you were alone for most of the race. Was it tough to keep the concentration, especially with all the LMP1s and LMP2s coming through?
Yeah, I had some help from Miguel, from my teammate, and then managed the traffic really well, and I was able to keep my concentration, run my lap.
What about next week? Will you be around for the Sebring event?
I sure hope so. I love Sebring, so I think I should be around.
Well, Jackie, thank you very much. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Of course, everybody at Geodesic Racing, Miguel especially, and Corey, they helped me a lot to get to this level. And then obviously our sponsors, Alpine Stars and GoPro, and our new sponsor, Shady Race, all of our sponsors.
Well, congratulations once again, Jackie, and catch you next week then.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
That was Jackie Lotterman, race winner in the GT class. And Joseph, I think that with that, our broadcast is about to come to an end. Of course, remember that if you want to have more racing action, you can switch to the World F3 Championship here on Apex Racing TV, starting basically right now and tomorrow, the big day of BSRTC. So, very, very interesting days ahead. Joseph, final few words, I think, from you, and what did you think about the race?
I think it was a good race. Maybe we were taking away the chance of a few battles in a couple of the classes. I think Dylan Mann, Fabrice Cornelis and Jan Stand would have been a good one, along with Riccardo Rica and Mathieu Glotti, but the race panned out as it did, and it was a reasonably good race to watch. Bit of action here and there, so hopefully we see more of the same as we stay in America for Sebring next week, and then Motorsport for the week after. So 2 very, very different circuits. So yeah, we'll definitely be seeing a bit of variety in the next few weeks, Marco.
Exactly. So, Joseph, thank you very much, and on behalf of everyone here at Apex Racing TV, as per usual, I wish you good night and happy racing.